Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald, Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitor, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt,
Here.
Bing Matt, James Steele Jr.,
Good morning.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Len Tooties, Laneige Trahan.
Carol, will you give us a prayer this morning?
Creator, today we just give thanks for this beautiful day in the fall season that's coming on upon us. We ask you to watch over our elders and our children, keep them safe and strong, and we ask for a prayer for individuals who are currently in the hospital. I won't be able to name them all, but Shadow Devereaux and Amos Coleman and anybody else that's trying to get well. We just ask you to watch over them and their families at this time. Also a prayer for D. Joseph, somebody that a lot of us worked with and watched, and we just pray for the family at this time. And we also pray for a lot of moisture and good weather and people to be safe on the roads. Komiate.
Thank you, Carol. We do have minutes from October 9th. And Jennifer, we're looking at the minutes from October 9th. We approved the associate justices modifications in that meeting, and I noticed that in two of them, they're referenced as associate attorney justices when they're just associate justices. So Abby's going to make the change and take the attorney out of those two contract names or those two resolution names. Motion by Martin to approve the October 9th minutes with correction. Second by Carol. All in favor? We have so many people abstain, I don't know if it'll carry.
Yeah.
So we got 1, 2, James, you're 4,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 4, and 3 abstentions. Danielle, Jennifer, and Martin abstain. We do have an agenda for today. Anybody have anything to add, Martin?
I do, Mr. Chair.
James? Danielle? Jennifer? One walk-in. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Jimmy? Motion by Jimmy. Second by Danielle. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Mr. Chair, there was an email change to the minutes. I assume that correction's fine.
Okay. Correcting a typo by an email by Len Tootie. Is that what you said? I hope that email goes to Abby. Well, we can go to our walk-in. Come on up, Alfred. Morning.
Well, good morning, council. Good to be here. Good to see you all, and hope all is going well with you and your families. And I'm here with with Tribal Ed, and we're doing a training, IEC training. We have to do a couple of them a year, and so we're doing our first one in Elmo. And we have a list of tribal employees that are interested in working with or being officers on the IEC committees. And so we're training them and the existing ones just to get them ready to do their jobs that they need to do. So we got a list of those ones that we sent out invitations to, and a lot of them are they're tribal employees that are on the list, and we need to request a change of duty for October 24th on a Friday.
We have a request for change of duty for tribal employees who are going to attend the IEC training on October 24th with supervisor approval, correct? Yeah, how long? All day?
Uh, 10 to noon.
10 to noon. Motion by Danielle to approve change of duty for those tribal employees participating in the IEC training on October 20. Second by Jimmy. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Thank you.
See you, Sadix. Are you having fun in the job? Martin, you said you want to go last after the whole day? Okay. James, you said you had something?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd just like to have the opportunity to make a statement for the record related to my resigning from the election committee, so that people understand that I resigned from the election committee because my dad was running for council. I don't think I made that statement earlier, and so I'd like to do that today.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to note, it's just been a really busy last couple of weeks, the election, the medicine tree trip, the Healing Our People event up in Polson, Bear Tracks Bridge celebration, and takes a lot of time and effort for people to organize these events so our people can enjoy them. And just wanted to really say thank you to everybody that's helped with these events. I'm sure there's other events that happened as well. So just a huge thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Danielle. Right. I do have a couple things. I see that this poster was left on my station here, and it's an invitation from Bernie to participate in the pumpkin carving contest that they have going on. So if anybody on council wants to pick Bernie to put together a pumpkin to put out there and greet everybody through Halloween, October to Halloween.
She's giving out prizes
And
for the winner.
Yeah, she's gonna have prizes. So if council's interested. Then I have a letter that they're asking to have signed to the Montana Department of Public Health, looking at, it's a Confederate Salish Kootenai tribes are pleased to provide to the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services our request for Montana's Rural Health Transformation Program application, and they have 10 different requests under that program that they want a letter sent out. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware and see if there was any objection to participating in this program, trying to get resources to do these different health associated tasks. So is there any objection to the going with the letter? Charlie Brereton. So there's no objection. We'll get that letter out. We will do it. We're a little ahead of time to start the agenda. If you, yeah, go ahead, Carol.
I attended the Lake County, I guess it's the jail discussion. That there's been a formulation of, first, I think Tom McDonald was invited and he threw my name in the hat. So I went, and Steve Stanley's one that headed it up, along with Don Bell and all the other entities in Lake County are there to talk about what's going on with the jail and what we can do. And I suggested, they want to do another tax request for tax money. And so I suggested, we've done this with MSU before, is had them do a plan for us where it doesn't cost us any money to get it done. And so I suggested that we reach out to the University of Montana and to MSU to see if they can help us work up a plan, because we got all the statistics, or a lot of them, that we can use. But what happened, I believe last time, just listening to Susan Lake and others, is that their presentations weren't complete. And so they were giving the public kind of like false information or not the whole story. And so this way, I believe that if we reached out to them, they could help us put a plan together that we could sell to the public and with facts and with the information that's needed. I guess way back when, and I don't know if anybody on the council, maybe James was here, when we were working with Lake County to do one entity that would house dispatch, jail, and then with all the upgraded technology, so you wouldn't need as many staff as they have now. Anyway, I think there's a possibility that you could sell it a little bit easier if you had the information readily available for the public to look at and be able to ask questions, but right now it's just in the real infancy stages of the whole process. So we're kind of, next meeting will consist of bringing people in to talk about what's happened in the past. So we can move on to into the forward, but there's Jeff Smith, myself, Susan Lake, Steve Stanley, Don Bell, there was an officer, probation, and I don't remember their names, but anyway, we'd like to have Craig Couture come in and talk about what did happen in the past. I mean, what blew that away? And I think it was actually a county attorney that said, "No, this isn't going to work." And I think it was Steve Etchenbacher at the time when we were all talking about that. So anyway, I think I'm glad to be a part of it anyway. And I thought it was a good meeting, but it was really short, only an hour, not enough time to get through things. So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing.
Was there any talking about coordinating with what's happening with Public Law 280?
I think all of that will come into fruition. Just like I said, it was the first meeting for me to attend. We didn't really get into a lot of just everybody's throwing out ideas on what happened in the past, basically.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Yeah, Carol, so are you saying that Lake County is interested in making a centralized jail with tribal and county and a centralized dispatch? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we talked about that 10, maybe 15 years ago. We talked about that, and there was kind of a plan that came together. And yeah, that's exactly what it is, a centralized dispatch location with a facility that would handle all of our folks. And yeah, the reason why they want to bring in Craig Couture, because he remembers, I think, most vividly about what actually happened with Mr. Etchenbacher. And I kind of just threw everybody back and said, okay, if you guys don't want to work together, you know how it works with Lake County. And Steve Stanley mentioned that in this meeting. He said, you know, the tribes talked about, invited us in, we had a good meeting. And then he said, and then we as county commissioners walked away, sent a nasty letter out without telling the tribes, and they got an ugly taste in their mouth. And, you know, that's kind of stuff should never happen because it just ruins our relationship. And so he brought that up in the meeting, and I was glad to hear that he would acknowledge something like that, that there's a reason why our relationship's not good. But yeah, it's a centralized situation for both entities. But he said there is a county commissioner that can already probably say he's not interested in something like that. And we know who that is, but the other one, I don't know what his position is on it, but
Yeah. So yeah, I would be very interested in hearing what Craig Couture would have to say, because my concerns are that we're the second largest taxpayer and we're and we're not, and I would suspect they would want us to pay for half, and we're not half the population in Lake County. And it just seems like double dipping. We're the second largest taxpayer, but they still want us to quote unquote pay our fair share, which is way more than our fair share. And I know that officers from Lake County call tribal people PL 280s. And I know that there's discriminatory practices and racial profiling in who they arrest. And tribal people are overrepresented in the jail. And I fundamentally do not trust them. So I would, Craig Couture would be the expert on this. I would want to hear what he has to say, but I know that they're Lake County officers, if I have doubts about whether or not they respond if the call is tribal, if they back them up, but I know like the Polson City police officers, 100%, and other police officers in Lake County. And if that's the department that we want to trust, I just don't think there's any trust there. I don't trust them to do what's best for tribal people. So I think I would want to hear what Craig has to say about it, Craig Couture.
can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is basically more about selling it to the taxpayers.
Looking to get a mill levy.
Get a mill levy and ask the taxpayers. And that's the whole idea, is putting something together, is to sell to them. I hear what you're saying, but sometimes you got to start somewhere, but maybe it's not right now. I don't know. It doesn't feel like right now because of the environment that we're in is not good. I don't know. I'm optimistic about things. I don't always look at the gloom and doom of everything. I think we have to look beyond that sometimes, but that's me.
James, you had your hand up?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. Just to add a little bit to Carol's comments, some of the things I remember is when Conrad Burns was the senator at the time, we were working with him in Lake County at the time to try to get funding for a centralized jail/detention center that would have one building with two separate police departments and a separate jail for each side. Um, and I know that part of it fell because John Tester was elected senator at that time. Conrad Burns was chairman of the Interior Appropriations Subcommittee that handled a lot of Indian appropriations, and so we actually had kind of a plan to go forward on that. And then another part of that was when Lucky Larson was the sheriff, we actually the most that we did was signed a letter to support their efforts to increase the mill levy for the sheriff's department. And we had kind of had sort of a better set of commissioners at that time, not perfect in any means, but at least weren't out there bashing the tribes all the time in the press as we have sometimes now. The I I just have a hard time at this point in time with, and it's really hard to support things with the county when they're constantly, at least one of their members is constantly bashing the tribes in the press or any opportunity. And I don't see, the other two doing that, but it's kind of like with us on council, we all get kind of labeled the same and people assume we all think the same. But, I think some of the difficulties that we've had with them, it'd be nice to see a little bit of lessening of the verbal attacks against the tribes and the tribes' efforts by that one commissioner. And I think that needs to be brought up. And I appreciated recently the vice chairman bringing up, the Elmo or what was it, the Big Arm roads thing that the street there that we've been battling with to figure out a way to work on that Moise easement issue. I think that's just what we need to do, is just be blunt with them. I don't say that we don't necessarily work with them, but I do agree we need to hear Craig Couture's thoughts on this. I think we do need to work with them, but we do it in a smart way, and we don't let them get a pass for verbally abusing our tribe and basically all of our people collectively, our employees, our workers, and our people. And I don't appreciate that. And I think as we do talk to them, yeah, we might consider working with you, but you need to tone down the rhetoric. We're not out there bashing the county all the time, even though I would like to be. I don't. Maybe in personal conversations I do, but I don't do it publicly as much as I would like to. But I do think we should be at least thinking and considering working together. I think law enforcement is good for all of us, but we definitely need to make sure that they understand our concerns, our people's concerns with racial profiling. And, a large number of our Native people are in the state penitentiary system and they come from here, our Public Law 280 tribe. So I appreciate the comments. I appreciate Carol's comments and Jennifer's comments. I think it's good for us to not always be in agreement. That's part of being on council. We're not always going to agree. We're going to have different opinions and different things, but we all have a point and a part in this process. So thank you, Mr. Chair and Council.
Thank you, James, and thank you, Carol, for bringing that up. Being we are a little ahead in schedule, and we can take our 1 o'clock and get it out of the way. And so, Greg, go ahead and come on up. Good morning. Page 16.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of council. Yes, ma'am. You seeing with the 16 on the top? So each and every year as we move into the fiscal year, we request a drawdown from BTFA of water compact funds associated with Section 8 planned activities. And the planned activities for fiscal year 2026 amount to about $8,381,000. We request those funds be drawn down from the water compact early in the month of October to fund those anticipated activities for the entire year. And this resolution authorizes that release.
Motion by Carol to authorize the resolution to draw down the account at BTFA. Second by Danielle. All in favor? We're unanimous.
The next resolution that I'm bringing before you today is the request for reimbursement of Section 7 activities that have been accomplished during the third and fourth quarter of 2025. Those activities were using tribal resources to accomplish those things, engaging with contractors, et cetera. And the third and fourth quarter reimbursement request amounts to $20,219,450.80. So this is a periodic reimbursement request that we're asking for from BTFA out of liquid funds.
Motion by Carol to approve the resolution to request the funds. Second by Jimmy. All in favor?
ETFA, Greg.
The BTFA is the Bureau of Trust Fund Administration. They're the people that are holding the water compact funds and hold them in investment for us. I continue even during the shutdown to have conversations with them every other Tuesday, and they're prepared to shepherd this release of funds to the tribes even during the government shutdown.
The vote on that resolution was unanimous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Greg. Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to commend Greg for a well-organized evening and some good leadership throughout the election so far. So
Thank you, sir.
there's room to improve, Greg.
I got Jennifer and then Carol.
Yeah, Craig, this is just on a different note. This morning when I was driving here, I heard on NPR that the Trump administration wants to cut the entire staff of the Community Development Financial Institution, CDFI, and they award over $4 million to lenders operating in rural, tribal, and otherwise underserved parts of the country. And I'm just wondering if that happens, how would this affect CSKT?
I'll make sure to look into how much exposure the tribal budgets have to CDFI funding and make sure I get a response for you.
Okay, thank you.
Good, Carol.
Brought it up this morning. I don't know if anybody heard me, but it's the contested and absentee ballots. When you get the certification, make sure that's on the the information that you put out to the public. I didn't see it. It might have been there. But I think that is transparency at its best when those figures are out there. And I know absentees can still come in, so that can always increase, but I think the contested that are listed should be oh, maybe it was cut off when I got the thing I got. It just wasn't there, so just make sure it's available.
I'll make sure that it's
Invisible.
included. I believe that it was part of the last two columns that we added, and I'll make sure that when we complete the activities on Friday, that it'll continue to be transparent
you.
entirely.
And not saying that you weren't, I just didn't see it. Sorry.
I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you, Greg.
Last thing, I hope you all got my email. We were fortunate enough that the IHS funding came in on Tuesday of this week. We'd been talking together that was one of the kind of touch points, even during the government shutdown, that our expectation is that the funding for IHS, purchased and referred care, and that funding was received. It wasn't 100% received, but the $24.5 million came in, and that funds all of those activities. So that's just one other marker, I think, that should make the tribes feel comfortable with business as usual, even as we're negotiating through this federal shutdown.
That's good news.
Mr. Chair.
James?
Yeah, just a pondering, Greg and council, over the last few days, people have been talking to me about, how some people think the tribes are in terrible shape and somebody's doing something wrong with the money, etc. Is there any way to just do a general article about how many years the tribes have had amazing audits or good audits or something, just to let people know that we do audit every year and we've done it for many, many years? It's something that we do routinely, but it'd be nice to see if we could at least, broadcast to the membership that we do audits. We do have audits that we conduct every year. Just, anyway, thank you.
I'll work on something for your approval.
Thank you, Greg. I think that's it. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Devlin. Morning. Welcome.
Okay, so this morning I come to you guys to seek approval for capital equipment purchases. Fire prevention program, we secured some supplemental funding to purchase 2 vehicles so we can get rid of our GSA vehicles. The funding we got was $134,000 for 2 vehicles, which is pretty nice, and so just seeking approval to do that.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I thought I seen somewhere where there was a halt on all purchase of capital equipment. Am I mistaken? Just because of the nature of what's kind of our, oh,
When funding is available and when this funding has arrived and the funding is available, we recommend the approval of such capital expenditures.
motion.
Motion by Carol to approve the capital equipment. Second by Danielle. All in favor? Go ahead, Martin.
If you can, try to get the most either hybrid or fuel efficient vehicles as you can to adhere to our climate change resolution, please.
Yep, 10-4.
That vote was unanimous. Thank you, Devlin. You have a good day. Morning, Corky. Come on up. I see you brought your entourage. Microphone, please.
We're here to get some JEs approved for DHRD for FY 25. JEs. Journal entries, I'm sorry. And I think we had sent this to you for the 15 that we need approved for, and you can kind of see that the reason why behind some of these were either charged to a closed account, wrong account. So these are just justifications of why they need to be JE'd for FY 25. And I have staff here if there was any other questions that you guys have. Carol?
Well, I was just curious, is this that whole thing with property and supply that you'd put out and suggested that we read? Was that this, is that this journal entry?
There is some probably in here, Karen. Karen?
And I was just wondering, I don't know if Greg had a chance to look at what you guys sent out, but
And we did have contracts and grants review this. They've already reviewed this, and that's why we've been able to go through with the process. Michelle?
So the journal entries that were from property and supply were our GSA. So we were able to journal entry those ones within the time frame because it happened was posted 9:30, so it was within the time frame. So I was working with property and supply on all the account numbers and provided the correct account numbers. However, we received early childhood services, early childhood transit received, or commodities received transit. And so we had like quite a few journal entries, but those were the ones that were within the time frame where we could do the journal entries. So we had probably about 5 wrong posted from property and supply for GSA vehicles.
Other questions? I guess I'd like to hear a little about these very large entries.
Oh, sure. The 414,000.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
378,000.
Okay.
That's a journal entry.
The TANF one, let's see. So, we have a MOU with Mission Valley Power. TANF does. And so they were sending us to process the purchase request in a PR, and they put it under 6,100, which is operating and versus a contract. And so we didn't catch that until we were reviewing the IDC and everything. And then we noticed, why is the MOU being charged to operate? So we did reverse the last one that was getting sent, because that's when we noticed when they sent it in that it was the 6,100. And I said, this is a contract. And then they said, we've been always doing it this way. So then we went and looked and we noticed it. So we were reversing the charges out of operating into the correct GL. Otherwise, IDC would be applied. Not that we're against IDC, but that would be a huge amount that would hit our TANF program. So, and then the other one, so we did do a journal entry on the one number 12. And it didn't get processed, and then more charges got to it. And then so it ended up looking like we have a huge journal entry now. So Donovan, it's the transit one. So this is the one that overlaps. And so it was being charged to the wrong account. We usually have multiple accounts that are operating at the same time. One we're trying to close out, but charges still go to it until we get our next one open up. And so that usually seems to happen throughout the year in July when we get new account numbers. And then in October, if we don't get our new account number set up. So currently we don't have a LEAP set up. Okay. We don't have an account number. We did get our model plan approved, but they haven't sent us our contract. So we were supposed to come and ask for an authorized, what's it called?
Spending authorization.
Before we can open this account. Otherwise, we're going to be in here probably in December asking for late journal entries for LEAP to move to the new account. So these are just the things that DHRD annually runs into. And we're trying really hard to prevent them, but sometimes they're just out of our control. So
Carol, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious, how many staff members do you have in your accounting? And I'd like to see the org chart too.
Okay.
10.
10. And then also, do you attend the meetings that the accounting puts on for training and things like that?
I review the PowerPoint, and if there's nothing new on there, I do not attend, but if there's new stuff, I do attend.
I think it's mandatory that all attend. I attended one and I was really impressed that the information that they provide, but I'm not in an accounting position, so everything new to me is wonderful. But yeah, I think that might be helpful for all the staff to make sure they attend those, because I think there's something that council encourages, so these kind of things don't happen, but maybe it's out of your control. I don't know.
Well, a lot of this stuff is out of our control. Excuse me.
Greg, do you have a response to that?
We'd like to see attendance, financial staff, tribe-wide. There's stuff to be learned in the meetings that doesn't always show up on the PDF, PAF, pardon me, on the PowerPoint, and we'd encourage universal attendance with your group.
Okay, can I just, so annually, we process 8,700 purchase orders. On those could be up to 10 transactions. So that could be up to over 20,000 transactions annually. And our journal entries, although they look not good on paper to you guys, we're still within the 1-3% of errors. We can have errors up to 600 and we'd still be in the 3% error rate. So, and that's just us, but then we have other entities like property supply charge in our accounts that we have to correct. And then when we have to correct them to accounts we don't even have access to, it makes it difficult where we do have to come in and ask because we don't even know those charges have been applied to those closed accounts. That's something, the trainings are not going to help me. I will attend them, but that's not going to help me in the long run when there's no accountability for other programs that get to charge our accounts, and we don't get to see and verify these charges before they show up into our accounts until after the fact. We do send journal entries in. They go through contracts and grants. And then when we get them back, if they're duplicated, which I do have records of the last ones we came to council on, one was already duplicated. So then we had to redo that one. And so I'm taking accountability for these, the things that are wrong with our accounts, but there's other, I don't even know the word, other things that are out of our control that we're unable to, manage. And then the journal entries, when we turn them in, we've had some that were like over a month and we followed up, and then we redid it on 9/29 and it's still not posted. So, I mean, we're doing our best, but we also need assistance from those who are not, that are also helping us, manage our accounts. That's in the other departments.
Well, I understand that, Karen. Oh, definitely. Just looking at them, I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carol. Motion to approve the journal entries,
Yes.
second by Danielle. Any other questions? All in favor? Martin? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, if we have communication that needs to happen, let's get communication happening.
Okay.
That's what it
Thank you.
sounded like to me.
Yes, sometimes it is a lack of communication, so I'm finding this out a lot, but we're working through it. Thank you, guys. Good day.
What about Chad?
Tabitha is on Zoom.
Look like you're skiing, Tabitha.
I know. I don't know how to change that. I put that picture up like a while ago and don't know how to change it.
Good
I'm always
morning.
skiing. Good morning. Do you guys have the pages or do you need me to share something?
I think we have something in our packet.
Okay, so we're starting on page 5. The issue that I'm gonna present today is about, I'm not requiring
Tabitha,
any. Yeah,
go ahead.
can you hear me?
You go ahead and share yours and then you can move it where you want it.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see if I can do that. Are you seeing that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So I'm not asking for any specific action today. I'm more wanting to update you all on an approach that we've taken on contracting and then just get your guidance and kind of make sure you're on the same page so that there's no surprises when we come back with a contract. So I'll just walk you through kind of how we've thought about this contract because it's a little bit unusual. So last fall, we advertised the request for qualifications for the Bison Range Reach Restoration Project. And so the whole advertisement covered the entire project, which was broken into 2 phases. But we were requesting qualifications, bid packages for the entire project, including both phases 1 and phases 1 and 2. So the bid packages that we received included costs, schedule, methods, equipment, all that for the entire thing. So that would cover phase 1 in 2025 and phase 2 in 2026. When we were working on the bid package with our legal staff and the engineer realized or notified us that with the scale of the project, the overall cost, and with our internal requirement for a 10% bid bond, he thought that 10% bid bond requirement would likely box out any specialty restoration company because nobody's really big enough to afford that kind of bid bond for the whole project. So we kind of modified the advertisement a bit so that we could still be protected for the work that was happening, but not box out the kind of target audience that we were hoping to get bids from. We thought if we required the bid bond for the entire project, we might end up only getting like large civil construction companies, which we didn't want. So we bid the whole project, but we only awarded phase 1. So we required bid bond just for phase 1. So I can highlight that section just so you can see it. This was what we posted in the RFQ requiring phase 1 bid bond. We would get the phase 2 bonding at a later date when we initiated phase 2 contracting. So I think there's another sentence in here I was gonna highlight, maybe not. Yeah. Oh, here, yeah, this. So the way we phrased it was that, we would bid the whole project, award phase 1 with the intention of bringing phase 2 in through a modification. Um, so phase 1 work has gone really, really well. There's really strict timing requirements through our Section 7 ESA consultation. There's like a 15-day window in September that they have to activate the new channel because of sensitive species, bull trout and West Slope cutthroat trout. So there's this really specific window. And then there's also really strict water quality standards in the Jocko that we have to follow. They've been really, really good about all of that so far on phase 1. They've also consistently been ahead of schedule and they've never asked for any additional budget. So that has all been great. They've been really good on working with, we have a pretty big team actually for this project. So it's a couple different companies, and then all of our resource people have been engaged. So the fisheries program, our program, preservation, Indian preference, they've been really good about all that coordination. So we've been like greatly satisfied with all the work that they've done in phase 1, and our hope is to move into phase 2 with them. So as part of phase 1, we realized there were some things that we just hadn't accounted for. So we were doing lots of kind of field fit decisions between the engineer and our staff and the contractor. And I think everybody was kind of getting to the point where we're like, okay, looking forward to phase two, let's just plan these components out ahead. So we had the engineer update the phase two design set, split that, just the phase two off from the main package, and just update a few items to better reflect the work that we were actually going to be doing on phase two. So we have that updated package, we have updated bid tabs, and we could pass those bid tabs to the contractor to update their phase two bid. And then we would, move that through a contract modification process is our approach that we're hoping to do. So the phase two bids for the four companies that we received bids from, Glacier Excavating was 30% lower than everybody else, or than the next lowest bidder. So we would anticipate that they would still be highly competitive. They were lower than the engineer's estimate for both phase one and phase two. So they were the best qualified. We deemed them the best qualified, and they were the lowest cost. So we anticipate that that would continue even when they update their bid. So I'm just wanting to get feedback from you guys, kind of update you on this approach and hear what you think before we spend that time and effort and money to get the phase two contract ready. I just didn't want to surprise you guys with a modification that you weren't expecting. So I wanted to hear what you thought and also any questions that you have.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I was just curious, did you not anticipate all of these changes? And I mean, I know this is a new project, new thing going on, but is that why basically you're kind of learning as you go, just things that you didn't anticipate?
There was definitely things that we didn't think of. So to clarify, the part of the plan was always to modify the contract to bring in the whole phase two work. But yeah, the additional work components we didn't really anticipate. Some of it was things like, for example, when we designed the project, we were trying to be super, super limiting on where they could drive and how far away from the channel they could work. So we gave them these really, really small construction footprints. And it became kind of impractical to actually build within those footprints. So we were always then in the field kind of like, well, we need to protect these two cottonwoods. And then they would have to spend like many more hours building around these two cottonwoods than they had planned. So we wanted to, one of the main things that we did in phase two was walked the entire alignment with the whole project team and and identified all the big important vegetative resources that we wanted to protect. And then we just define that on the plans at ahead so that they can know you're going to be expected to work really slow and be really careful in this huge section because there's really, really good cottonwoods or aspens or wild plums or whatever the species that we're trying to protect. They can know that ahead and they can plan their time accordingly. Because in some circumstances, when we would ask them to do that, it would take them twice as long, but they're still getting paid the same. So that felt a little bit unfair, and we wanted to at least disclose that we would have all those requirements up front. Um, and then other things were just access routes. We updated access routes to be more practical.
Okay, it sounds like you're in the weeds.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, but the other thing, the modifications, are they increases then in the budgets? When you modify, usually it's an increase, right? Like
Yeah,
the one you said would bid, 30% lower or whatever was lower.
yeah. The modification would bring in the entire phase two of the project. So yeah, it would increase the overall contract by a couple $1 million, but that's what we planned to do. And we haven't, because we haven't gone into the process with him yet, we don't know how much his bid from his initial phase two bid to his updated phase two bid. We don't know what the difference will be, but it would probably go up because we have additional work items.
Okay, yeah, now I understand because it's a total phase. It's not something that you failed to remember to do or whatever. It's a total phase that you're just bringing in and they bid on it and then you accept it at a rate or whatever. Okay,
Yep.
I think I got it. Thank you. It'd like
You're
to
welcome.
see some of this on the ground, like, you're saying that you're really analyzing the the situation that they're in and making sure they aren't overdoing the resource that's on the ground. So I just appreciate your work, but yeah, sometimes it can get a little in the weeds. Thank you.
Yeah.
James, go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just a general comment. I kind of wish we had an office that dealt with economic impact upon our local economy that would study that, because just off the top of my head, we have Doer doing these different types of contracts and building a new building. We have the S&K Gaming doing their construction and building, and we have the meat packing plant doing its construction and building, and there might be others that I'm missing. But, you know, these all are impactful upon the local economy, and it would be nice to have a report, even just on the Doer stuff, what Doer's doing and all of these contracts and all of this money that's being spent. You know, we're hiring these contractors and such to do this work. They're paying taxes into the local economy. Their workers are paying taxes in the local economy, and they're buying supplies. They're impacting the businesses in the region, or, you know, whatever they need to purchase to do the work they're doing. And it's pretty significant when you think about it. All the construction that we have going on right at this time, but we don't have a gauge to measure that impact at the present. And we're doing this work, and people are quick to criticize the tribes for not doing anything, but we're putting money into the economy through these projects, whether it's our hard money or whether it's compact money or litigation money or what have you. So, you know, I don't quite know how to get a handle on all that, but it would be nice if I had a magic wand that could wave it. We'd have a department that could measure this stuff and be able to get a good report out to us and the people and the membership as to what we're doing. Anyway, especially to our naysayers, you know, to be able to say, look, we're making an impact in this local economy in spite of many things. Thanks.
Thanks, James. Tabitha, you're saying that phase one is pretty well complete. Is that what you're saying?
It's wrapping up. So there's still we've put the water in the new channel. That went really, really well. They now are they're gonna be backfilling the entire old channel through like around Christmas time is when they think they'll be done for phase one. So they'll have to backfill the whole old channel. And then right now is the time that we can start doing all the vegetation components. So we have a tribal member contractor out collecting willows now, delivering them to the site, and we'll start planting all those willows. And then we'll plant all of the plants that the greenhouse has grown, you know, in the next month or month and a half too. So all those things still have to happen, but we wanted to start the contracting work for phase two so it can just kind of roll smoothly from phase one into phase two.
Sounds like you're pretty ripe for a tour by council.
What's up?
When's the tour?
Oh, whenever you guys want. It's really cool. We had all kinds of resource people from the lands department and across NRD there for the fish rescue operation. When we moved the water to the new channel, we had to rescue all the fish from the old channel. And so that was really awesome to have all those people get to see the project and help. And it was really cool. So yeah, you guys can come see it whenever you want.
I don't remember being told that date. I would have liked to have seen that. Go ahead,
Oh,
Carol.
yeah.
Yeah, question, are you gonna be attending the contractor meeting there's two contractor meetings coming up?
Yep, I'll be there. And I have
Okay.
another project that we're bidding this fall on Crow Creek that would be built in the spring, so I'll be able to bring that one to the meeting with the contractors.
Plan on attending that meeting I think it's at the college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Tabitha? It's nice to break the whole project into the two phases and only require the bonding on the first phase to get started. Has that opened the door to even more local contractors, or pretty much just Glacier? Or are they
We had, when we bid it last fall, we had 4 bids, none of which were local Indian preference contractors. They were all Montana companies, but none of them were Indian preference contractors. So because of that, we awarded the main contract, but we've done actually 6 contracts in total. And 4 of those are with Indian preference businesses for kind of split offs of the work.
any other questions? I know one of the last contracts was with 3 more, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else from you, Tabitha?
Yeah, I guess so then I'm okay to move forward with contracting phase, and then obviously I'd bring the actual contract to you whenever we're ready with a final number and a modification. That's like an okay approach for you guys.
Is there any objection to moving forward? I think that you're okay to move forward.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tabitha.
Bye.
Joel.
Come on up, Rachel. My agenda says Mark.
Okay. I don't know if the second part needs to be executive because it has names and financial, but we can at least go over that first part on the Valley View hunting. We're requesting to allow bird hunting and archery hunting in just some areas of the Valley View property. I think the map on the second page here. So like in the, like the furthest northwest up here near the river breaks, and then the bottom south, the furthest south here, that would be the rifle hunting, but all this right in the valley, if we could have archery hunting and bird hunting here, just due to all the animals and all the homes, if we could just have archery here is what we're requesting. And then, like I said, the rifle hunting up here in the northwest and rifle in the furthest south of the Valley View property.
Questions? I don't know this area is, I've never hunted it, so I don't know how much it's been hunted in the past, but it sounds like it's always been open. That's why the request is coming in.
And of course, we will put signage up.
I need to see the exact effect that you just described. Gonna allow hunting or not?
Mr. Chair, question.
Got a motion by Bing, and go ahead, James.
Sorry, I'll second it and then I have a question.
Second by James. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I can't, what's the distinction of the colors between the yellow and the green? I can't see
Sorry about that.
I'm just a little curious. Oh, great. Okay. I was just curious what the different colors meant between the green and the yellow.
We had a motion by Bing and a second by James to allow the hunting that Rachel's described on the parcels indicated. All in favor? It looks like we're unanimous. You were saying we need executive now?
You know, I think we do only because that printout has financials were.
We'll go out of regular into executive. All bids. Motion by Martin to accept the fall ag bids. Second by Bing. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yes.
We'll take a
April
break.
legal at 10:20.
10:20. Break to 10:20. We'll get legal started early. Good. I think we're here.
Great. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. So first thing, we have a number of updates, but first for open session, brought in Ali, our law office administrator. Keeps our budget all in order for us up in the legal department. Anyway, she's down to request a journal entry, and I'll let her give some explanation of that.
Good morning. So I'm here for approval for a year-end JE to move our legal charges over to the water compact. So this would be including salaries, benefits, and operating and contracts. So we budget for water compact every year. And this is just how we've done it every year is we do a big mass journal entry and post it. And it frees up tribal dollars is the big positive thing of it. So that is the gist of what I'm doing.
Motion by Martin to approve the legal journal entries for charges over to water compact. Get all that water compact money.
Yes, and this will be the last year we're doing this entry. We just got our own sub accounts for water. So now everybody's timesheets and POs, everything will be charged directly. So we won't have to do a journal entry moving forward.
Need a second? Second by Jennifer. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you, Ally.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ali. Now we'd Chris to go to executive.
Make a motion that we turn the Corville property over here in Pablo over to the homeless.
Motion by Carol to dedicate the red barn, the red whatever garage to the homeless effort.
10-year lease with a 10 option or more.
10-year lease, 10 option. Seconded by Danielle. All in favor? You're unanimous. Find some money.
Mine was just, good, I'm glad she's leaving. So mine was the powwow update, or just a powwow thank you. I'm gonna send it to Abby, that's her name. So it's just thanking all the staff, all the Downtown Missoula Association people, the two Maxes, Jen and Ruth and the culture committee and the language apprentices and the vendors and dancers and the great weather we had.
Anything? Oh, Martin was thanking everybody for the powwow. That is our agenda. We're done. Shehoy.